Cliff, which by the way looks more like a speed bump each year. And we've also been being told that we actually already received too much in our health benefits package. This year, you told us you wanted to rebuild trust, that we wanted to be fair to our employees. So I hope you can understand our concern and frustration when we see the words that you say to us are not backed up by your actions at the bargaining table. The lack of trust in the past, paired with a 0% on schedule raise the last 3 out of the 4 years, is carrying over to now. Maybe all of you weren't part of the team that laid that foundation, but you're all here now, and it's up to you to take actions to show the employees that we are valued. LTA has been sharing the importance of attracting and retaining educators for several years now. There's teacher shortage, did you know? I think you do. That will only get worse. And a 1.75 or 2 or even 2.75% raise versus the county average of 3.77 doesn't help us. Lakeside educators have been working extremely hard. We've been showing up and doing our part to keep our schools open for in-person learning. Our benefits and pay don't deserve to be penalized as a thank you. The district team seems to think our membership is okay with benefit costs increasing, but the idea of a cap never went to the Health Benefits Committee, as we've requested it has in the past. Why not? The Health Benefits Committee was created over 10 years ago through negotiations to be the way that we can explore benefit changes and help educate all parties. The COLA that we're looking at in this round of bargaining, as you know, is a total of 5.07% from the last 2 years combined, and next year it's projected to be 5.33. It's unacceptable to ask employees to give up the benefits of family coverage, a benefit that our district has had for over 50 years, by the way, and that you're asking us to give that up in a time when the district is receiving more money in from the state. We do believe that your team is trying to work with us in a respectful way, and they do communicate with us well. You need to know, though, that there have been multiple mistakes and embarrassing proposals with errors that ends up wasting everybody's time at the table to correct. It's our opinion that these have come from your lawyer and not from your team. And it's kind of shocking to us that you're happy paying for someone to write language that has errors and does not represent what the verbally stated intent is of your team. It makes it hard to know what to trust. Do we trust what we hear or do we trust what we read? Let's also compare the cost of the lawyer versus what the district is offering in raises. The lawyer will get $970 for 5 hours. With the raise that's being proposed, your lowest teacher will get paid $870 for the entire year. In 2 days of negotiations, the lawyer makes more than 1.75% increase for the year of our highest paid teacher. What are your priorities? I know that you're going to be looking at all the costs and you may be told, as you have in the past, how it ends up eating up the COLA. But remember, LUSD is already budgeted for step column, full family health benefits, PERS, STRS, and all those costs already. The budgets from our district are showing good projections. These costs are already represented in the current budget from the past year's projections, and we see no need to ask for that decrease now. So I say this again, the LTA Executive Board has given our team the parameters to bargain with your team in good faith. We are here to ask you to do the same. Offer us a fair on-schedule raise and maintain our health benefits. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Lisa, is there any more speakers?
Yes. Hello, members of the board, Superintendent Taylor. The last time I spoke with you publicly was because you chose to close an immersion program in the district during a worldwide pandemic. Today, I speak with you under different circumstances, not at all less regrettable. All of the negotiation news has been that news to me. See, I know that Mrs. Ferrante, you know that I'm the LTA chair of the Health Benefits Committee, since you sit on that committee with me. That committee hasn't met since all the staffing changes at the beginning of the year happened in the district office, or the changes recently. I just want to make something very clear to this board. I think we have a communication problem. You're asking us to take reductions in our benefits for a raise that amounts to 1% less than the average salary increase in the county. You're asking us to reduce our benefits in order to receive just over half of what the district received in COLA this year. You're asking us to do this without having called any sort of meeting with the District Health Benefits Committee to talk about options, messaging, or plans. We have a communication problem, but I think it might go deeper than this. We were fine with taking off salary increases during low percentage COLA years. This year, it's 5%. Next year, it's projected to be even higher. I don't think we have board members that understand how difficult it has been to teach with a mask on for 7 hours. These last 2 years have been education by triage, filling in as many needs as possible, adapting to extra workloads and ever-changing demands. We have been here through all of it. And your proposal doesn't come close to acknowledging the hardships we've faced as frontline workers who have shown up to keep our school, all of our schools, open for our students and our community. I think we have a lack of respect problem. I would like to be proven wrong. 3.77%, the county average raise for teachers so far. Your current proposal cut your benefits to get 2.75. During a teacher shortage and a substitute shortage, the scarcity of likes we have never seen before. This doesn't pass the eye test. The way I end every stand here is I'm willing to work with everyone to find better solutions. My name is Michael Dawson. I am the Health Benefits Chair for the Lakeside Teachers Association. And the cuts in the health benefits proposed at the bargaining table were news to me. Thank you, Mike. Lisa, any other speakers? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Am I up?
You're in, Aaron. Thank you.
Fantastic. How long do I have?
4 minutes.
All right. I hopefully won't take that long. I'm here today for once not to talk about COVID, so everyone can cheer for that for a minute. Those of you on the school board have seen me express my opinions about that, but today I am here to talk about the bargaining process and what the district has offered, or probably more accurately hasn't offered at the bargaining table. My son is a kindergartner at Winter Gardens. And as I've shared at previous meetings where I spoke, I bought a house in Lakeside to send him to Winter Gardens and Riverview and to go through the entire school system here because of the amazing district that you've built. And by you, I mean the school board, the district leadership, the teachers, the nurses, the counselors, the classified staff. Every single person in this district has built something phenomenal that draws from around the county. And then on top of the difficult work that already maintaining an effective public school district is, you've all been dealing with, going on 2 years of that and a global pandemic. And in particular, I know as a parent, but then also someone who works with teachers professionally, that what they've been through for the past 2 years is beyond Herculean. And this is the opportunity for you as a school board to acknowledge that and to say, we see you, we value you. And in the context of a 5.07% COLA that you're getting this year and a 6% plus for next year, a countywide settlement average coming up on 4%, inflation rates topping 7%, and a national teacher shortage. And in San Diego County, districts are poaching teachers from each other. You're offering a 1.75 or in the middle of a global pandemic where we ask you to come to work and get sick and take it home to your family, we don't want to pay for you and your family to go to the doctor anymore. We don't want to give you family health care. That is unconscionable. We're going to be a percentage point below the county average and yank your family benefits in a global pandemic. What are you thinking? And I've got your salary schedule pulled up here, and I've also got the Chipotle beginning salaries here. And this is why people aren't coming into teaching. It's not just you're competing with other districts, you're competing with the private sector and in a worker shortage. Your beginning salary for someone with a bachelor's degree and 60 units is $49,000. Beginning salary for a Chipotle service manager is $44,000. Maybe I'm going to go work at Chipotle and not deal with everything that goes along with teaching in a public school. And let's talk about growth opportunities. At Chipotle, an apprentice manager is $62K, a general manager is $80K. If I want to crack $80K working for you, I need to have a bachelor's degree and 75 units and a master's degree and 11 years of service. Maybe I'm going to go work at Chipotle instead. I'll probably get there faster and not spend all of the tuition on getting a master's degree, right? So as someone who pays property taxes in this district, as someone who has a kindergartner here who's going to be here for the next 8 years, to know that you're making decisions that might mean that my kid gets taught by someone who is a Chipotle fast food reject with an emergency credential, instead of these incredibly experienced, educated, veteran educators who know what they're doing, that is appalling to me, appalling. So I want to give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe you didn't realize how terrible this offer is that you've sent to the table, so that you have the opportunity to fix it if this is your team doing something you didn't direct them to do. And if you are directing your team to yank your teachers' family healthcare during a pandemic and pay them less than they could make working in fast food, you will be held accountable at the ballot box. So I'm hoping it's option A, and that this is something that you can do a course correction on tonight, because these teachers deserve the sun and the moon and the stars and not what you are offering at the bargaining table. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Erin. Lisa, are there any other speakers? No more speakers? No more speakers.
If you please face the flag and put your right hand over your heart. And we're going to try this a third time. All right, Lakeside Farm. All right, now I think we're in good shape. All right, let's try this again. So at Lakeside Farms, every Friday, we come together as a school community and we do our pledge of allegiance together. We make announcements and student presentation. We also have messages to send out to school, and we honor students for good things they've done throughout the past week. So first up, I want to talk about how we're meeting our social emotional needs of our students. This is really been a task that myself and the counselor have taken on, and we're able to support our students' emotional needs in a variety of ways. We really have a mantra in our school that everyone belongs. It's a place for everybody. We want school.
All right. All right, so at Lakeside Farms, social emotional needs, we really want to make sure we meet every child's needs. And one way to do that is to help the students be connected to the school through a variety of ways. We have an Anchored for Life program, which helps our military students transition both to our school as a new student, and just as importantly, when a student leaves, if their parent is going to be stationed somewhere else, we want to support that student in their venture to a new school. So we have a Anchored for Life trained group of students and a couple staff members who help with that transition. There's packages that are provided that give a little goodie bag to help them be connected to the school. And it's just a nice community building piece to really emphasize our military population and make sure that we're meeting the needs of those students. We finished up Kindness Week a couple weeks ago, and we had the opportunity where each grade level took a community organization and did great things for them. You'll see a picture on this slideshow in the middle there of the local sheriff's department receiving quite a few goodies that our first grade students gathered, and then and kindergarten as well. And then the sheriff's department, we had a bunch of deputies that came out and they were able to hand those items to them and just celebrate with them. They sang a song, and just a really nice community piece, and the kindness feel really lives on in our community. Our counselor has done a fantastic job of meeting the needs of students, whether it's through whole class lessons. You'll see a picture on the left-hand side. She was doing a whole class lesson with fourth grade to meet some social emotional needs, as well as small group using a second step program, and as well as individual counseling when needed. We are very fortunate that we have counselor interns on our campus. They're there a couple days a week. There's a couple different interns that we have. One is a former student of mine, so it's interesting to be on the other end of that. But it was great to reunite with her. But they're able to also help support students in the classroom and then pull out when needed for another support component. In addition to that, we have, due to our military population, we have our MFLAC counselor, and she's able to support military students, connect with the parents and support them, especially when deployment comes up, and then support students at the school. So she's a great communication piece with those parents, and they're able to reach out directly to her. So I'm going to look to Andrew because I'm trying, there we go. All right. The next piece I want to talk about is we're very fortunate in our district to have learning loss mitigation teachers who are able to support students in a variety of ways, pull small groups, and really bridge the gap of students who don't receive other services, but really to intervene with students and help give them access to maybe some learning that could have been lost due to hybrid learning or digital learning. So our learning loss teachers have done a fantastic job. They have a classroom set up, and they're able to pull students in there using very specific programs, explode the code, and achieve the core. And then it's really a data-driven program where you're able to see results in students. And the idea is it's a quick snapshot, you work on a skill and then you move on. So it's really been a fun thing to see. And it's really goal-oriented, which ties into what we're doing as a whole school and really analyzing students and looking at data to be able to intervene as soon as possible, and then check on them again so that we can move on to the next component of intervention. At Lakeside Farms, we want to keep with the theme of the farms. We'll get into what our new office will look like in a couple minutes here, but I wanted to just highlight a variety of ways that we connect with our students. So we talked about school connectedness, but in the top left-hand corner, what we did, the counselor and myself, we met with all new students to the school, K-5, when they came to us in August, and just made sure that they had a connection to the school so they were able to meet like peers, because we know if you're coming in, especially to a new school, when you've left friends at another school, it was really a way to build the relationship and let them know that they're not the only new student in the school. So that's just a fun celebration. We really, again, with our military community, we want to really stay connected with them. On Veterans Day, we're able to have a great breakfast for them in the parking lot, nice outdoor event, and really just honor the families that we have and really make the students proud of their families and what their parents are doing. So that's a really important component that we have at Lakeside Farms. One of our projects this year and moving forward is to really build a connection with LCAP and their ag program and really create a pathway into 4-H and FFA. So we were able to, this school year so far, we've had all our K-3 students did visit LCAP and get to tour through and do different activities that the high school students led. So it's really just a fantastic, exciting piece to get the kids touching animals and riding on a tractor and doing some classroom activities. And it was high school student driven. So they ran the activities, and then our hope is to go back in the spring here and then bring our 4th and 5th grade, as well as build a relationship where they're going to come to us and come onto our site. So it's a great opportunity for the high school students, as well as our school, to really get the students interested in ag and being able to really promote that within the community as well. We really pride ourselves on the Lakeside Farms experience. We want a student, no matter what classroom that they're in, that they're going to get an equitable education and that they're going to get the similar experience in any classroom that they go in. So we're really working as grade level teams to make sure that it doesn't matter if you're in A, B, C, or D classroom at a grade level, that you're going to get that experience and you're going to get that expertise, and it's really going to be a thorough program. I've mentioned agriculture with LCAP. We have a grant that our school, we're on the 2nd year of a grant, the Sage Garden Grant, and we're able to have a curriculum that not only incorporates garden and ag, but also incorporates cooking. We have Deborah Kamitsky is our garden lead, and she's able to incorporate lessons to our students outside. So it's outdoor learning, and then they also get exposure to different experiences with food and taste. My own daughter this past week, they had a salad science lesson, and the girl has never eaten salad before, but she came home and said she wanted to go to the store and pick up some ingredients because she wanted to make the salad that she had at school. So it's neat to see that from the parent perspective as well as the principal perspective, that the kids are really into it and they're really learning and diving right in. All right, some excitement around Lakeside Farms. A lot of construction going on. If you've driven by recently, you'll see a bright red building. Some call it a schoolhouse, some call it a barn. I'm going to call it a hybrid schoolhouse barn, but we're really excited. We should be able to move in the beginning of March. So we've really had some great opportunity to see from the ground up construction. Kids are really excited about it. They've seen cement trucks come. They've seen a whole bunch of action over the last couple of years. So I just wanted to highlight what the building looks like. You also see in the bottom left-hand corner a shade structure where the students will eat lunch starting next fall. And then all of our bathrooms have been gutted and remodeled. So they look really sharp, and we're excited to spruce up the school and share that with our community. And we really look forward to being able to have parents come back on campus and enjoy it and really tour them around and highlight our school in person. So that's what I have. Come watch us grow at the farms. We're really making gains here. And I look forward to the future because it's definitely bright at Lakeside Farms. Are there any questions? Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I feel the pain of the teachers on Zoom the last couple of years. But for those of us that have presented on Zoom, we know it happens.
Jim, do you know when the ribbon cutting for the new office is going to be?
That is a great question. I did hear from Todd from maintenance this afternoon. He was there with the walkthrough. We are hopeful for March 1st that the building will be ready. So that is coming up real soon.
That's exciting.
I just want to say, I love seeing this over here. The future of the world is at Lakeside Farms. I think that's pretty awesome. So thanks for putting that up.
All right, thank you.
So we'll now move to trustee reports, starting with trustee Machapa.
Let me put my video on. Just to say, I don't have anything to report, Andrew.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
Trustee Ferrante.
I just want to say a couple things. I want to thank the Ed Services team for the PD day. I was able to attend the morning session and then a breakout session in the afternoon, and it was great. Also, I went by and saw Lakeside Farms on Monday, and it just looks beautiful. It's all the work is, and Jim showed me everything else they're still going to do, and it just looks great. That's it.
Trustee Wiseman.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot to say, but I would just like to thank all the staff, the admin, the teachers, the classified staff, district-wide that kept our schools open during this last huge COVID surge, maintained the learning environment for the kids, and kept our students safe. So I appreciate all their hard work in keeping our schools open and running for kids. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Wiseman. And Vice President Hofer Moyer.
I just wanted to take a moment to encourage my fellow trustees as well as our parents and community members to kind of take some time over these next couple of weeks to really get out and start advocating for our students, to reach out to our county supervisors, to our senators and assemblymen. There's a lot of bills coming out and around, and it's really our turn and time to step up and really get some advocacy out there. So I kind of just want to encourage everyone to do that right now.
Thank you. So I too was at PD Day, and I sadly could not log in on Zoom, so I had to call in. And so it was funny, and I want to thank Rhonda for and all the team for putting that together. The speaker was he a comedian? I think it was. He was really funny. So I enjoyed that, although it was a little early for laughing that hard, but that's okay. It was good. I also attended the San Diego County School Board Association meeting. We had a guest speaker from the state level association giving us some updates on what their perspective is in advocacy on the budget moving forward this year. So that will be some interesting negotiations with the governor moving forward. I too want to encourage everyone and to let everybody know, one, SB 871, the bill that would add the COVID-19 vaccine to the list of required vaccinations for children entering school. What the Joint Rule 55 was suspended in Sacramento. And what that means is that when a bill is introduced, it has to sit for 30 days unless Joint Rule 55 is suspended. The Senate suspended that rule. And so it could be heard in a committee as early as maybe tomorrow. I haven't seen that yet, but it could be next week. So, folks, please do advocate to your senators, to your assembly members, because we really need to make sure that bill stops in many different ways. It'll have local impacts for school districts. So please encourage your friends. The other thing I just want to highlight is San Diego County Board of Supervisors yesterday asked for clarity on what will happen with school masking from the state. They want the state to make new decisions. Governor Newsom said yesterday that he will be commenting next week on what that will look like. So stay tuned for that, and take a look at his press conference when he has it next week. And that's my report. Next is opportunity for members of the public to address the board on any item described in our notice. You will have 4 minutes per person. And as a friendly reminder to all the members of the public, we cannot respond to you. So even if you ask us a question, we may love to respond, we just can't. But that doesn't mean you can't hang out here or send us an email and ask us a question after the meeting. So those are the rules.
Why? That makes it kind of pointless.
It's called the Public Meeting Law and the Brown Act. And that's all I can, again, going through.
That's pointless. Parents can speak all they want, but you guys ain't gonna talk back. Waste of time, guys. I'm gonna explain this. They're quiet.
All right. Lisa, do we have any speakers?
I don't know if that was Michael Thorpe or not. Michael
What?
Thorpe? That was, okay. No, it wasn't? Oh, okay. Is he here? Michael Thorpe.
We can't hear you.
Michael Thorpe.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, here he comes.
Right up in a second. I'm an outrage. You guys are supposed to protect our kids. You, above all the other teachers and everybody else at the schools, are supposed to protect our kids. Our kids are masked. They're having psychological problems. When a kid has a medical exemption from a doctor who is board certified and in good standing in the state, presents it to the school and gets put in a printer closet because he's not going to wear his mask. What does that do to that child? What does that psychologically do to that child? You guys should all be ashamed of yourself. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. This is our future. These kids are our future. And you guys are doing a piss poor job at looking after our future. This is the next generation that's going to lead our country. And you guys are teaching them to just be sheep. You guys should all be ashamed of yourself. And all you see is dollar signs. All you see is dollar signs. If you don't comply to what the state says, you know what? That's money you're losing. Lose the money. See how much better your kids do. See how much more productive your children are. See how much better they learn. Don't worry about the money. Worry about the kids. Money doesn't matter. The money comes and goes. These kids is our future. You're ruining our future.
Thank you.
James
Lisa?
Cassidy.
Thank you for the time. I want to piggyback on what Mr. Thorpe said a little bit. He talked about how the kids are struggling. Jim earlier reaffirmed that with his program that he has. I forget what it was called. What was his distance program? They helping the kids? Yeah, hold on one second. It was, learning loss mitigation. He has set up, and my guess is kind of with the approval of the district, a program for kids who've struggled through distance learning. But yet, what do you recommend when the kids refuse to wear a mask? What is the offer to them? Oh, distance learning is good for you. Even though you know that they suffer because you already have programs set in place to help the ones that suffer from the program. Do you see how it's cyclical? Okay, so I'm a little ashamed about that. I'm certainly ashamed that you allowed a child to be put in a closet. Like, unbelievable. What I want to talk about today is specifically the masks. I know Newsom's going to be talking next week. I would request a couple things from you. And Bonnie, I'd really like to talk to you specifically today. I know where those two sit. I know where those two sit. You're the swing, okay? So I'm pleading to you, to your common sense. Common sense. Mask mandates. I would request that you put on for the next meeting to review how you, what's the word I'm looking for? How you control what your protocols are for kids refusing to wear masks. I implore you, Dr. Rhonda, to talk to the Cajon Valley superintendent and find out what Blossom Valley School is doing right now. talk to them and see what they're doing. But my point today is with the masks and this opening and this potential of opening up or not potential of opening up, it's on you to look at it and say, well, the governor said that the entire state can now not have to wear masks indoors, except for schools and our kids. Commonsensically, how does that make you feel? I can go into Costco once he releases the indoor mask thing and buy groceries with everybody else that's been touching it. I can sit at a church next to an elderly who may be at high risk and sit right next to him. I can go in Home Depot into the bathrooms and defecate and urinate in a bathroom next to someone else. But yet my children can't sit in a fairly clean classroom with his classmates without a mask on. Commonsensically, you know damn well it's wrong, and you're threatened by the fact that they may pull funding from you. You may pull insurance from you. Give it a shot. Take a risk. What are they going to do? Oh, we're going to suspend your insurance, even though they don't control the California Department of Insurance. But let's say they're in cahoots. Okay. Then you say, you know what? We tried as a board, and we will now be subservient to your rules of the California Department of Public Health. But at least you tried. And they're going to let you back in. They're not going to stop the entire school. Where are they going to put the kids? You know how many kids you guys have? How are they going to funnel those kids into it? They'll let you open back up. But what you need to do, what I request you to do, is at least try, attempt. If you don't, it's your choice on the enforcement side of things. Change your enforcement rules. Say you're going to ask the child to put up his mask. My point is, it's going back to the enforcement. It's your choice, Bonnie, yours, not those two, not those two. It's your choice on how you decide to enforce it. I request that Dr. Rhonda Taylor put up a new enforcement and you guys vote on it. Thank you for your time.
Bree Castle.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bree Castle. I'm a mother of 2 school-age girls here in Lakeside. I'm in this fight a bit differently than some of the other parents here because this district has already kicked my straight-A perfect conduct kids out of school through no fault of their own. My family's battle is unfortunately lost for now, but these families' battles, it's not. I don't want these mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters to experience the heartache and pain that rips through you as you watch the state take away your child's right to education and socialization. So here I am to stand beside them and tell you that you suck. Your fear is repulsive, your cowardice is disgusting, and it astounds me that you would willingly choose to harm the kids of your community this way. No threat of lawsuits or funding or anything should have kept you from doing what was right for our kids. It has been an absolute shame to watch. I would have loved to see this room packed with other passionate parents every month telling you exactly what they thought as well. But it's hard getting people to do the right thing these days. What a strange world we're living in. Speaking of strange, I found some statistics y'all might like to know. There are 73 million kids under 18 in the United States. Out of those 73 million children, 940 have died of COVID. That's less than half of 1%. Healthy kids have a greater chance of being struck by lightning than dying of COVID. They have a higher chance of being eaten by a shark than dying of COVID. And there was more reported cases of children being injured by vending machines last year than who died from COVID. So why mask? Why harm? Why scare and stunt the growth of these kids for a disease that rarely harms them and that there is no proof that they contract and spread it to adults? Everyone who's gonna get vaccinated has. So everyone should be safe and sound now, right? Unleash these kids and let them breathe, let them live and leave them the hell alone. Enough is enough.
I don't even know where to start anymore. This battle over a face covering is disgusting. I walked into 2 different district offices. Let me remind you that it is all of you guys who are implementing this crap. And in both offices, the first face you see sitting at that front desk was not muzzled. You want to talk hypocrisy? You will allow the front face of the district to be unmuzzled and be able to breathe free, fresh air, but you will force our children to be muzzled while in the classroom most of the day when they pose almost zero threat. This should never have fallen on the shoulders of our schools or our children. Your job as a board is to protect our teachers and our children. How do you sleep at night knowing you have gone along with the script for so long that you now have teachers doing your dirty work? If it's so important to all of you people, why aren't you out there at these schools laying in the bed you made? Why are you making it so hard for teachers to just do their job and teach these kids? I don't want to hear our hands are tied anymore because they haven't been this whole time. It was brought to the board's attention at El Cajon's district meeting to look into further options and give better guidance to the teachers. Why don't you reach out to El Cajon's district and see if you could work together on our proposed guidance that will cover everyone's hind end and allow the teachers to do their jobs again. All the parents who came to one meeting in August when this was initially voted on have all sat down and shut up and stopped fighting because they got to have their choice. That's all we're asking for. Bring it to a revote and vote for choice. It's not my job, my child's school job to keep everyone safe from illness. It is everyone's individual right and choice to do what is best for themselves and their families. Mr. Wisman, you said in a previous meeting when you went on your site visits that it was good to see kids smiling even through a mask. Do you know at what cost that smile is coming? Are you sitting through and paying for the therapy cost of those smiles? Are you holding your crying child at home because he is breaking down because he is finally allowed to let it out because he's had to play the game all day at school? Are you the board checking on your teachers? Because after all, it's your choice that have put them in the situation to police rather than teach. I was talking to my son about how it was when I was in school, and the part he envied the most was being able to play with his friends and hugging people. Tell me how your science supersedes the overall mental health and well-being of these kids. Mental health is an invisible killer, and you are all aiding in the destruction when you are choosing not to fight for what is right. Are you upholding your promise of that chair to do what is right for the children, not what is right for the budget? Or are you just wearing the seats as placeholders until the end of your term? Because I don't think we'll be inviting most of you back. Parents, please remember when you are angry that it is this board who has decided to implement the rules on forced masking, not our schools, not our teachers, not our administrative staff, not our principals. All these people are at the mercy of the district and their choice to dictate how their hypocritical policies work. Please, in your anger, remember the teachers are doing what they are told to keep their jobs. At the end of the day, they have mouths to feed and bills to pay. I understand not all teachers and school staff are handling this the right way, but please don't let the anger blind you from the source of the problem. Start standing up for our kids because it gets more clear every month what side the majority of the board stands on.
Why don't you show this parent some respect and get off your phone?
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Jeff. I'm the father of 2. I'm here again to remind you all again that you have absolutely no legal right to mandate this most deadly COVID shot on our children. And further, the forced masking of our children in schools is absolutely a form of child abuse per 273A of the Penal Code. Since mask wearing restricts oxygen flow and creates the rebreathing of our body's toxic exhaust, which commonly leads to bacterial pneumonia, the abuse can certainly lead to, quote, great bodily injury, end quote, which therefore classifies this particular type of abuse at felony status, not misdemeanor. That equates to prison time, not county jail time, ma'am. As a retired local police sergeant, I know about these things. The laws that have been broken and the rights that have been violated throughout this scamdemic for the last 2 years are absolutely mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. It's been as if anything that makes any lawful sense has taken a total backseat to the insane tyranny that most of you have each personally endorsed based on your actions with the school district. I'm here to tell you accountability is coming, and it's coming hard. If you remember your history lessons from World War II Germany saying I was just doing my job will not get you out of your culpability. It didn't cut it then, and it's not going to cut it now. The false COVID narrative is finally collapsing around the globe, thank God. I sure hope you all are tuned into more than just California and the tyrant ways here. And along those lines, I also hope you all realize there's absolutely no truth to be found on the television. None. Whether you're the target audience for CNN or Fox, it does not matter. It does not matter at all, you guys. That those two clown shows work for the same global puppeteers running this shit show. And they will all be held to account as well. In short, the COVID tests are a complete and utter fraud. You all know that. The masks are merely a satanic slave representation meant to make you sick, and the shots are designed for depopulation. Sorry, but that's what it is. In a nutshell, that's the scam you guys have fallen for. It's more nefarious than you can imagine, obviously. I'm wondering, have you seen the many school board video clips from around the country as of late? Some entitled Bonds for the Win. Everybody can look that up, by the way, where the parents are now suing the district superintendent and the board trustees. That's all very likely in your near future as well. It is. You need to get the masks off our kids and don't even think about imposing these most deadly shots. All of those responsible for these heinous crimes against humanity will be held to account. Nuremberg 2.0 is coming in hard. May God bless you all and help you to make better decisions from here on out.
Kara?
Hi, my name's Kara. I'm actually not a parent, but an aunt of 2 young boys that are in the East County District. This is my 3rd school board meeting this week. I went to 2 others earlier in the week, obviously. And it's very different to come and see all of the different representations of teachers and those who represent our schools. And tonight you're all masked up. You're all wearing your proper mandated gear from the higher ups and the elites. Congratulations. I don't know if you guys are going to get a award or a cookie later, but congrats. The joke is over. The rig is up. We all saw our great governor hanging out with immune compromised Matt Johnson over the weekend, as well as Mayor Garcetti. Why is that okay? But these parents, their kids can't come and learn. I have a hearing impaired nephew. He's had to struggle this whole time, not being able to watch his teachers speak. He gets made fun of. Then he battles back and he says really ugly things sometimes to other kids because he's been picked on. Do you guys even think about these things when you go to bed? When you come back in and you say at the beginning of the meeting, Sir Dawn, sorry, how proud you are about everybody, keeping things together. And during this last big surge of the pandemic, how many students did you guys lose here during this pandemic?
None.
How many students did you bury? Any? How many were affected by maybe self-harm? How many of those kids are cutters now? How many can't sleep at night? How many have eczema or rashes all around their faces? That's what you're doing to them. That's what you're instilling. They don't feel safe. They feel scared. And now they don't feel safe without their slave masks. They don't feel safe without it. My nephew, we're all talking about how great it's going to be. The governor's talking about he's going to let up on the mask mandates, even though we just voted today that we're still in an emergency. We're coming for their seats as well. Yep, everybody. You guys have awakened sleeping giants in this room, and they're going to be loud, and they're going to flip seats, and then they're going to stay there, and then they're going to raise children to continue taking those seats in government. And we're going to take back our country. We're going to take back the state and the county one step at a time and one position at a time, but we're going to do it. And I know that you see a lot of passionate people here that maybe didn't want to speak at this meeting, but they're tired, they're sick of this, and they're tired of the disrespect, people either on their phones or just continuing to play into this thing. The jig is up. We're all awake. So the sooner you guys come onto this side, the better. Jen Psaki said in a press conference, I like to call her Jen Sucky, because let's be real, she sucks. Just like all these decisions have sucked. It's up to you guys. It's not on them. It's not because of Frowdy Fauci or NIH, any of that crap. It's up to you guys. So any days further that these kids have to suffer, it's on you. So make better decisions, like Jeff said. Start fighting for these kids. That's why you guys all started teaching in the first place, right? Because you love children. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Vanessa Flitcroft.
Can you select parents that are talking and actually look at them, Lisa? I'm taking notes.
She's a recorder.
Ma'am, Lisa is our secretary, so she tracks all public comment. So that's why she's making sure everyone gets in order. We are all focused on public comment. So thank you.
Okay, hello, my name's Vanessa. My son Nathan is in 3rd grade and attends Lakeview Elementary. I'm here to talk about the masking of our children in school and ask you all to please consider changing this policy so that our children have a choice on whether or not they want to wear a mask. I've never spoken, and I felt compelled last Friday after what happened to my son, sorry. Last Friday, my son Nathan exercised his right to choose by not wearing his mask. His right to choose was instantly taken away from him. When asked by his teacher to put on his mask, he politely refused and said, "It's my body and my choice, and I don't want to wear it." His teacher then told him that she understood that it was his choice, but that he had to wear it. So it's not his choice then? He then went outside, put his head in his backpack and cried. And instead of his teacher coming and comforting him, she handed him a slip to go to the office and get picked up from school. My almost 9-year-old son was braver than most of the parents out there not willing to fight for their kids, braver than all of you not willing to fight for our kids. And then to have that right taken completely away from him after he was brave enough to do it is disgusting. 2 years is too long. It's been 2 years. Enough is enough. Sorry. California can host an AFC championship game and the Super Bowl. 80,000 plus people, majority of them unmasked, including our own governor. But you are all going to force our children to wear their masks all day inside in a classroom of 25 to 30 students. It makes no sense. We've heard that the governor is going to be lifting the mask mandate for all California on the 15th, except for in schools. His reasoning being that vaccination is so low in children. This is an excuse for him to continue to have the power over our children. The CDC has come out and said that masks we wear on a day-to-day basis don't work, and the vaccine, if you can call it that, does not stop the spread of the virus. Therefore, there's no reason to have our kids masked anymore. It has been proven that cloth masks do not work in stopping the virus. It has been proven that surgical masks do not work in stopping the spread of the virus. And it has been proven that N95 masks are not safe for children. And even if they were safe, they wouldn't work because they aren't fitted correctly for children to wear. So you tell me, which mask can my child wear that's going to keep him safe and keep him from spreading the virus? There is none. There is no mask, so they're pointless. If you can provide me a mask to put on my child that is safe and effective, then I will put it on him. But there is none. There's none. Your job is to protect and fight for the rights of all children, not just the children of the families that comply with these mandates. Our children deserve protection and a fight. Let our children breathe. Let them see their friends and teachers smiling, and end the mask policy. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. So my reason of speaking in front of all of you is merely for the benefit of my daughter, one specifically. And other kids like my daughter. My oldest is currently at Winter Gardens, but she was very fortunate enough to attend Eucalyptus for TK. No words can describe how amazing the school, teachers, and staff were to my daughter, and all the tiny humans who were fortunate to attend with her as well. Please consider to keep Eucalyptus Hills doors open to continue doing the amazing work for our tiny humans. And then in addition to my notes, I would like to add, I'm sorry. My two kids are special needs, okay? My oldest, the one that attends Winter Gardens, is a little person. She has dwarfism. Therefore, she sweats a lot because the amount of skin that her little body has, it's the amount of skin that it could cover an average high body. With her wearing a mask, she has developed rashes on her face. And how do you explain to a tiny human, a child, that not only is special needs, that this is the way it should be? And my second kid, she is on the autism spectrum. Regarding with all of the nonsense, not wearing a mask, can you imagine a kid trying to learn how to vocalize their feelings and how to learn with your face covered? It is also hard for her to wear a face mask. She has a sensory disorder that comes with the autism spectrum. So I'm asking you all to please consider not only on thinking on your granddaughters, your grandsons, daughters, sons, nephews, nieces, etc., but wearing a face mask. Also, do not take away the right for them to have such an amazing staff, such as Eucalyptus Hills, for our little ones. Please stop being selfish. I'm asking you, I'm begging you for the sake of my kids and these other parents. Thank you.
She's actually on Zoom. Are you? Okay, we'll do those. Megan Dunn.
Okay, ready? Okay. Hi, my name is Megan. I'm actually, my kids go to Cajon Valley. I didn't have anything prepared tonight, but I wanted to come support some of my friends, that go here. And I know we're all trying to support each other. It's been a long past 2 years where we started East County Parent Association because we realized we were all doing the same things and saying the same things. And we also realized a lot of our board members don't talk to each other. We were actually previously at La Mesa Spring Valley, and we transferred over to Cajon Valley when they were open. They had the waiver, thinking it was going to be great. And then come to find out they weren't even trading notes with some of their colleagues about how they were doing things and whatnot. I know, Andrew's friends with some of our board members over there, but that was kind of why we started that. We realized as parents, we needed to be on the same page and be a united front and help and support each other emotionally. It's just been one thing after another. Even before, before COVID, but, distance learning and sexually violent predators moving in next door. That was fun. Andrew helped us with that one with Senator Jones's office. Switching schools, preschool shutdowns. This one's 2 classes out of 3 in Cuyamaca College shut down because they fired all the unvaccinated staff. So now I work full time. She's home in the middle of potty training. It's too much. We're exhausted. So I hope you guys understand. I know where a lot of the anger and frustration is coming from. Mental health wise, I work in public health. There's a 6-month waiting list at Rady's right now just for a mental health intake appointment. Rady's can't even keep up with the mental health calls anymore. And, the fentanyl and opioid issue is very scary. The DA statistics say that last year, at least, we were on track for 3 times as many deaths as the year before. And I don't even think the data has come in from 2021 yet because the medical examiner's office is so backed up. So I think that's where a lot of the frustration and pleading is coming from tonight. We're scared, for our kids and our future leaders and this future generation. I want to say something that's probably not popular tonight amongst parents that go here, but I do want to thank Andrew Hayes personally. I know it's easy for me to say that as a parent, who doesn't go here, whose kids don't go here. But Andrew really has led a lot at East County and made it safe for some of our board members at Cajon Valley, I think, to speak out. And when it was not popular to do so, some of our board members were censured because they were speaking out, because they weren't wearing masks outside or at meetings, and it was not the popular thing to do at the time. And now all of a sudden on Tuesday night, it is the popular thing to do. But now it's not on Thursday, because the MOU with the union said that the union is upset because they say, no, this goes against our MOU with the district. So now we have an emergency meeting tomorrow night. It's just exhausting. So please work with your colleagues in East County. I think I can speak for, well, I guess I can only speak for myself, but as a parent, I'm willing to help any way I can with policy level stuff. You know, I think parents really need to have a seat at the table here, because this isn't working, obviously, right? I think that's it. Thank you, guys.
Lisa, are we moving to Zoom comments?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull in Katie. The next three are on Zoom.
Thank you.
So you'll probably need to put your ear.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you. My name is Katie Junk. I'm a parent of two boys. One is a kid in school. One of my sons is in school here in Lakeside. It's long overdue to stop the mask mandate and the talk about allowing children to have their own say when it comes to vaccines. The government isn't the parent. I am. The school district isn't the parent. I am. The child is just that, a minor who needs guidance and direction from their parents. I fully believe in respecting authority. I also believe in standing up for what I think is right, and it's my job to teach my children both. The line has been crossed. It's time. It's a fine line, but it's time. These ridiculous mandates, overbearing and are pointless. They don't stop the spread of diseases. We're much better off strengthening our immune system, eating right, getting exercise, and spending time outside in the fresh air. I'm tired of telling my son to put on his mask to go to school. He's been sick more this year wearing a mask than ever before. A mask on a small child just harbors bacteria and germs. It's long overdue. Let our kids show their smiles inside and outside of the classroom. I pray that you take this in consideration, and thank you for hearing my voice.
Pulling in Amanda Morris.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Dr. Amanda Morris Cassidy, licensed mental health clinician, 15-year district employee. And this is not what I'm here to speak about, but I did just want to reinforce and share. I have seen more suicidal ideation this year than I have in my entire 20-year career. Dealt with 2 situations this week, and I do feel confident it's not organic in nature. It is due to some of these external situations. However, I am mostly here to just remain active in this process and continue to just come together with other parents and to keep the conversation going about the importance of parent choice and parent involvement. And I want to continue to just encourage parents who are frustrated to recognize that this is now a lifelong fight. It's not going anywhere, and success is measured in many ways. And not to forget the personal wins, even if we're still pursuing more change. So don't let this consume you and destroy you. Let it help your light get brighter. I want to encourage the board that just because there may be limits around rules and regulations from a state perspective, there is still power in vocalizing opinions and pushing back on some of these mandates. And I do think taking the enforcement route is a way to go that's safe, but also effective. In 2022, at this point, we know a tremendous amount more than we did 3 school years ago. And we have not really changed our policies to reflect that. The rest of the United States has, and even our neighboring school districts have. So I really encourage you to ask yourselves why, and do we really want to be the last ones? I personally think that we should be planning the International Fair at Riverview. Things need to be 100% back to normal. And it's really sad to me that my daughter, who's now in the 2nd grade, has literally never participated in any of that. And that's one of the main reasons why we chose this internationally focused school. I have 3 little ones. You guys have heard me speak before, but I have to say, even my 4-year-old, they're in the car with me now, does understand that masks don't work. And I do have to explain to them in terms they can understand the science of it. But they know that when they see board members and teachers out and about in their daily lives, mask-free, but they're forced to be muzzled, which my 4-year-old now is as well. They've actually regressed. You know, they're taught to respect their teachers, but they also are learning that adults have faults, and it is okay to question authority, including doctors, teachers, and government officials. I also just want to share that both of my school-age kids recently just took 1st place in the reflections contest for their grade. And I actually think they both took 1st place for both music and art in the district level as well. They are active, they are healthy, they are bright. My kinder took 1st place for her class in the jogathon. I mean, and my point of bringing this up is it's not that I want to brag about my kids, but I'm here to share the stark contrast between those kids and families suffering in the worst mental health crisis for adults and youth of our time, while my family remains healthy emotionally and physically. We are thriving. And the reason why all of us are thriving, even better than before COVID, is because we do the exact opposite of what the government tells us to do, including not following the food pyramid, including practicing functional medicine over Western medicine, holistic psychology over traditional psychology, and avoiding COVID protocols at all costs that have been detrimental to our youth's mental health. We don't and never have avoided large gatherings. We have never stayed out of church. We never stopped going to the gym. We didn't take donuts for bribery to get a vaccine. We never avoided playgrounds. And honestly, if you look at my family, this is not a brag. We are thriving, while everyone else following the opposite is not successful. And I see that on a daily. It is time we recognize agencies like the FBI, who call us domestic terrorists, and the CDC as some of the most corrupt government organizations in this country, and continue to advocate as board members, as parents. We need to come together. And I know I'm out of time, but I just want to say we don't have to keep investing in these agencies that we know are not effective. And I think that can be a silver lining. Thank you so much for hearing me out tonight.
I'm pulling in Jessica Weekly.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jessica.
Okay, sorry. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm not there at the board meeting tonight. I like to be there in person most of the time, but I'm here watching my son play Little League right here at Lakeside National, just around the corner. He is sitting in the dugout with all of his classmates that he has to sit next to masked at school in the classroom. I'm here to speak about the mask. Thank you, Andrew, for bringing up SB 871. That is something super important that we need to oppose. And the fact that they're trying to rush it through without our notice and trying to put a shade over our eyes against with all this mask stuff because of Newsom not wearing a mask anymore. We need to be aware of that because they are trying to pass through putting the COVID vaccine on the agenda for all of the mandates to go to school. So we need to make sure and stay aware of that. But I also want to bring to attention everybody that the masks are not okay. My son has unfortunately been wearing one for the last 4 months, and he has been suffering from a rash, and I'm ashamed to say that, and you guys have probably seen him at the board meetings. I've showed you the rash that he's been suffering, and for some reason he's been wearing this mask that has not protected him from the the virus it's supposed to be protecting him from. As everybody has seen how much is run through rampant through our classrooms, through our district, through California, through our whole nation. Obviously the masks are not working, the vaccines are not working, it's been proven. The things that we're not thinking about is what we don't know, what the vaccines are causing. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know what it's causing to our girls with their fertility issues. We don't know what it's causing to our sons with heart problems. We cannot enforce something that we don't know what's going to happen to them in the future. So I'm just here to speak against that. I encourage our board members to please stick up for our children. We voted you in. We are your constituents. If you don't follow what we ask you to do for your constituents and the majority, then you will be voted out. So we are praying and hoping and asking in your hearts to look after our children. And I will say that yes, like the last speaker, she was amazing. Please realize that people that are not following what the government has asked us to do, we are thriving. We are here at baseball having fun. Our kids are not sitting home alone. They're having fun, and I don't know why we're not allowed to do this at school. So please listen to us, and I thank you guys for listening to me.
Thank you. That concludes public comment for this evening. Of course, we're here afterwards, so feel free to ask us questions. Our emails are public, so if you have any questions, we are available. All right, we will now proceed to Superintendent Dr. Rhonda Taylor. We'll give a district update.
Hi, I'm going to discuss the masking scenario and remind everybody that we are a public school system, and as far as we are concerned, the CDC is still continuing to recommend universal masking indoors at school. And so we're still under those mandates, and a person who cannot wear a mask can get a medical exemption. However, an exemption does not mean that you do not have to wear a face covering. Typically, they want you to do an alternate sort of face covering, whether it's like a shield with a drape or something of that nature. If you don't want that, then there's another exemption you can get that can free you of all face coverings, and doctors are giving those. I do want to remind everybody that, why is this not working? I'm not in the, no, it's frozen. I'm frozen. Hang on, I'll just do it this way. I have to go in the presentation mode. I don't want to. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's because I can't see it because this control panel is in front of it. Hang on. Play from current slide. All right, we got it. I just want to Lakeside has advocated for local control by writing a resolution that passed through the board and has been sent to all the people that it needs to be sent to. What happens after that, I haven't heard back from anybody yet, so I will follow up on that. But we have taken the concerns of our parents into consideration. And it's still not doing it. So the state is working and continuing to work with public health and community leaders to update mask requirements at schools and adapt to changing conditions and ensure the safety of kids, teachers, and staff. Additional adjustments to the state's policies will be shared in the coming week, and we will report those out for you when we have those adjustments. I also need to make a comment about our staff, and our staff also needs to feel safe, and some of our staff do not feel safe with students without masks. Should our staff decide that they don't feel safe and can't come to work, we have a devastating substitute shortage. I'm afraid, my fear would be that we would not be able to cover those sites with the subs that we have. We just don't have enough, and I don't want to be in a position where we have to go back to our bedrooms to learn. Yes, everybody would not have to have a mask on in their bedroom, but I believe that learning in school is more important than that issue. I personally believe that. When I'm in classes, I see kids that are just happy to be at school. They're doing reports, they're learning, they're presenting their projects, they're building. They're happy to be there. I would have them rather be there than in their bedrooms any day. They're doing music and art and everything that the school has to offer. Unfortunately, right now, we're having to do it en masse. I just wanted to share because we don't get to respond to the parents.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Stacy Arnold, and she will be presenting current COVID numbers in the district.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Great. Good evening. I am here to share with you the monthly COVID-19 update for the district. This is as of February 4th, this last Friday. So as you know, we did experience a significant surge with Omicron. This is a picture of our testing site right here at the district office through Inspire Diagnostic. That graph shows a weekly breakdown of the number of tests that were administered here at the district office. Over 2,800 tests were administered, resulting in the identification of 518 positive cases. But I should note that actually that number was slightly higher because public health is now allowing us to use the results from antigen or at-home tests. And several of our families and staff members also test off-site as well. So here is a graph of our monthly case rates since the beginning of the school year. You can see in the months leading up to Christmas break, we were fairly steady with averaging about 50 cases per month. When we returned from winter break, that's when we saw the results of that surge, and we topped out at 602 cases for the month of January, which was highly significant. We talked about that a little bit in the board meeting last month. Currently, I'm pleased to say that we are experiencing some relief. Hopefully that surge is behind us. Current active cases right now are 25 students, 7 staff members, and that totals 32 district-wide. Just a breakdown by site. These are, again, active positive cases as of February 4th. 3 at the district office or support staff. Actually, that also does include our substitutes. 2 at Lakeside Farms, 3 at Lakeside Middle, 1 at Lakeview, 3 at Leap, 2 at Lemoncrest, 8 at Lindo Park, 3 at Riverview, 6 at TDS, and 1 at Winter Gardens. So just to offer a little bit more perspective, this shows the first week, so exactly a month ago, the first week back, January 2022. These charts both exemplify the number of class closures that we experienced. So in that first week of January, we had 21 classrooms that we were forced to close just because of the sheer number of cases. Fast forward to the first week of February, and we have closed 3 classes since the beginning of the month. So we can see that relief is finally in sight. I just wanted to highlight for you some of the changes in the K-12 decision tree. Probably the most significant change that we've seen is a change to how we handle group contact tracing. So essentially when students, when there's a positive case identified in a classroom, whether it's an adult or a student, students who share that indoor space for 15 minutes or more with a COVID-19 positive person are notified that they've been exposed. But the good news is that they can now remain in school if they test on day 3, 4, or 5. So this has been a really big relief actually to our sites. We still do individual contact tracing in situations where we feel we can isolate those, but it's provided a tremendous amount of relief for our school sites. And the good news is that our kids can stay in school in their learning environment, and that's right where we want our kids to be. The other significant change is household exposures, and this one's a little tricky, but essentially if you live with a person who has been identified COVID positive, your isolation period or your quarantine period begins on the first day that the COVID positive person's isolation period ends. So that's a very complicated way of saying that in most cases it's about 10 days. As soon as the isolation period ends for the positive individual, the close contacts quarantine period begins at that point. So we have seen that with a few of our staff and students. But again, when they return to school, they are asked to monitor for symptoms and test as soon as possible. So essentially, I really want to acknowledge the hard work of our teachers and our administrators and our office staff, especially our health office staff, because really they have carried the burden of this recent surge. And this decision tree changes almost daily. In several cases, it has changed multiple times within a day. And so we try to get that communication out to them as quickly as possible, but they have been incredibly flexible, incredibly adaptable as these changes come and go. So I just want to acknowledge everyone's hard work. And I'm glad that we're starting to see some relief. And I am just got my fingers and toes crossed that trend continues. Any questions?
Not from me. Anyone else? Thank you, Stacy. Okay, next we will have Alejandra Morales, and she will share information on the immersion programs in our district.
Good evening. Give me a moment as I try to share my screen. Good evening again. My name is Alejandra Morales, and I'm the language TOSA for Lakeside, and it's an honor for me to have this space and time to highlight some of the amazing things happening in our immersion programs. And it will be, there are so many amazing things happening across the district in our immersion programs, but I'll just quickly highlight a little bit from each site. So we have Eucalyptus Hills, our elementary schools, Lakeview, Lemon Crest, and Riverview, and our middle schools, CDS and LMS. And I'll start with Eucalyptus Hills. So our kiddos there are in the Spanish program, and here you see them tending their garden, celebrating the 100th day of school. Here you see Senora Fernandez dressing up as a penguin due to, I think they had an Arctic transformation day. So they got to learn about the Arctic. So a couple of transformation days that they had were Candyland transformation, and that was school-wide. But our immersion program, our kiddos in the Spanish program were learning in Spanish, so sorting colors. And then the Arctic transformation day, they were learning about the penguin feathers and all about how they can live in the cold. So very a lot of fun learning. So they're learning math skills and social skills. So a lot of amazing things happening at Eucalyptus Hills in the Spanish program. At Lakeview, I'd like to highlight a couple of things happening there. Students in kindergarten, they were learning about their favorite things, and they got to do a home project, and then they were able to present to their classmates. So they're not only learning the language, but they're also presenting in kinder. And they're also, they also have a garden. They're growing lots of things. They're growing snow peas, herbs, thyme, dill. And a couple of other highlights from Lakeview in second and third grade. Students are, they're reading, they're using graphic organizers, they're doing fun things and with their math tying in with the math and doing fun things with the math. And in fourth grade, the students are doing research projects, they're doing essays, they're solving math problems. They're not only solving math problems, but they're explaining their thinking. You could see here an example from Senora Acuña's class, how they solved a problem and their explanation. And here are some examples of their notes in math and a chart from one of Senora Acuña's classroom. They learning about the language in Spanish, the grammar, the language rules. And there's so many more things happening at Lakeview, but that was just a quick, some quick highlights from Lakeview. At Lemoncrest, we have second through fifth grade students in the dual language program. And in second grade, students in Senora Dawson's classroom, they are the new year. They just celebrated the new lunar year, and they were learning about the Chinese New Year, and they were cutting some dragon from Chinese mythology. So that cultural piece is so important across all our schools. They're doing, they're working on Genius Hour projects where they get to choose the subject that they research. They're also at Lemoncrest, they are, as a school-wide, they're doing expeditionary learning, but they're also mixing that with the Spanish Maravillas curriculum. So they're doing amazing things with that. And they're also in third grade, they're keeping track of their progress. They're setting goals. And the neat thing is that we have experts in both languages, in Spanish and in English. So they're supporting each other, and they are celebrating when they are meeting their goals. They're also, here's a picture of students guiding the class, and they're doing sentence patterning chart. That's a mouthful from the GLAD strategy. So they're building sentences, they're building strong sentences, and they're having rich, deep discussions about how the English language bridges to the Spanish. So those similarities and those differences in both languages. And in fourth and fifth grade, they are learning about animals. They're doing research projects. They're getting ready for the school-wide BizTown upcoming, and also the upcoming Gold Rush unit. At Riverview, I'd like to highlight a couple of things. Fifth grade students are, by the leadership of Mrs. Cox and Mrs. Hood, we have a fifth grade influencer. So they get to do a weekly message to the school, and they get to be like the kind of like the celebrities and YouTubers, and they get to guide the of the week and kind of like current events. So each fifth grade class has a couple of fifth grade influencers, and they are like everybody wants to know how to become a fifth grade influencer. So they're doing an amazing job with that, and they get to show their leadership and presentational skills. And I don't have a picture of this, but I just wanted to highlight the fifth grade students also had an opportunity to be a tutor to the younger students in second grade. They got to apply for the job, and they were able to help kiddos in the younger grades academically, and also using the target language in both Spanish and in Mandarin. So that was, I don't have pictures of that, but they did a great job with that. And just students in fifth grade are presenting in the target language. They just were learning about social studies. They just finished a unit on the colonial life, and they're researching ecosystems and writing informative essays. So lots of learning happening. And also they just school-wide, from kinder all the way to fifth grade, students in the Mandarin program learned about not just like the Chinese New Year, but the customs, traditions, the food. So each class not only celebrated and learned those important factors, but also they are performing. Each class still is learning a dance, a performance for each of the grades. And I think they're going to be presenting pretty soon to the community. I'm not exactly sure where, because usually they perform at Balboa Park, but I know that will be performing soon, so they're getting ready for that. And I wanted to show a quick video from Riverview, but I don't think I'll have time. So Riverview has a video that was showcased for the immersion incoming parents, but since I'll continue to the next part.
Alejandra, you're welcome to show the video. We'd love to see
Yeah,
it.
is that okay? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely.
I know that the video is a lengthy, but I just want to show a quick part. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me know. So I just wanted to say that in the immersion programs for the incoming parents, Mrs. Cox and Mrs. Hood created a video for parents. Since they're not able to come on campus for the tutors, they created a brand new video, and that was just presented very recently. So I'll just show a small part of it.
Is a nourishing and safe place to grow and learn. We care deeply and are practicing kindness. We listen with empathy and understanding in order to develop our social emotional ties. Each and everyone counts. Through our emphasis on global citizenship, we encourage our students to learn and embrace cultures that are different from their own. In our increasingly interconnected world, it is crucial for us to cultivate diverse perspectives. When our students embark on their journey into the world, we witness them leading with empathy, communicating effectively, and articulately advocating for important issues in our society. We continue to provide meaningful opportunities for rigorous academic growth and development. We are employing innovative instructional modes and fostering high level of student engagements. Students are more than ever ready to be stretched, questioned, nudged, developed, clarified, supported, and extended. Our phenomenal students grow in literacy through language in ways that effectively allow them to interact, communicate with the world around us. The students learn and practice every protocols for speaking and listening through group and partner collaborative conversation. They read increasingly complex literary and informational texts. Our students write with focus, strength, and voice. Teaching science, technology, engineering, and math through integrated STEM approach inspires students to apply knowledge and skills to creative solutions. This higher order design process is hands-on and engaging. As you can see, students utilize critical thinking, communication, problem solving, and collaboration. We see students experimenting with static electricity.
So I'll stop right there, but I just wanted to show you a small piece of the great video that they just created. And now a couple of highlights from TDS. Students continue in the Mandarin program learning about the Chinese New Year, but not just academically, but the cultural part of it. And here they are cutting out decorations for Chinese New Year. Here are a couple of other kids. Since it's the year of the tiger, here you see the child in the middle created a beautiful tiger out of paper. And a couple of other highlights from TDS is that students, for a long time now, they've been creating an immersion portfolio. So every grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, students do a reflection in the beginning of the year and then towards the end of the year. And they do a reflection in their progression of the target language, whether it's Spanish or Mandarin. And they do 3 written reflections throughout the year. And they culminate with an end of year presentation. And students reflect on their progress in the target language. And every grade has very specific questions that the teachers have them answer. So it's not just a reflection, but it's they use data, they use data throughout the year, academically and in the target language. And this has now, from Mrs. Hardiman, I know that this is now not just in the immersion program, but I guess across, it's a mission and goal for across the school as well. A couple of other highlights from TDS is that students, like I was just saying about the students track their progress in the target language. So teachers provide the language for them to understand, okay, where are they at in their language? Where are they at in the, what level are they at in their language? And teachers give them tasks to be able to listen, present, write, read. Students are reading novels and reflecting on the novels in Spanish in both social studies and their language classes. And a couple, just an example from the cross-curricular planning happening at TDS. The teachers from the English teacher meets with an immersion teacher and the social studies teacher, and they plan so that whatever is happening in the social studies class, such as learning about the Supreme Court, they're learning it in Spanish, and they are presiding over cases in Spanish, and then they have all this background knowledge before they get to write about it in their English language arts class. Both TDS and LMS, I just wanted to show that they do read this trilogy, these novels, and these novels are a combination of, they target the Common Core standards, social studies standards, and also the world language standards and cultural standards. I do want to point out that usually one novel per year is read, and due to COVID challenges, the 8th grade students were not able to read the novels as they normally would. So Señorita Herrera in 8th grade is doing all 3 novels in 1 year. So they are doing an amazing job. And I wanted to also highlight things happening at LMS. They're also doing the trilogy, as I mentioned. They're doing novels, they're doing plays, they're reading nonfiction articles. Something fun that they're doing is they're using a very authentic show that's called El Chavo del Ocho, and they're doing readers theater. They're using this show to learn language development, verb conjugating, and reading comprehension. Another highlight from LMS is that they have the Amigos program, where students who are English learners and Spanish immersion students are joining, and they are having interactions, and where they are tutoring each other. And it's a student created program, and students are given an opportunity to show their leadership. And I wanted to also highlight some a vertical alignment from the 5th grade teachers and some middle school teachers. That vertical alignment is so important, and they had an opportunity to meet for a day and just talk about planning challenges, just looking at assessments, and so much to talk about. But they had a wonderful time collaborating for a day and making those bridges, getting our kids ready from 5th grade to middle school. So lots of rich discussions here. And I just wanted to show a couple of slides on the assessments, on how they're doing with students, how our students are doing with the language. So it takes about 600 hours to learn Spanish, and it takes about 2,200 hours to learn Mandarin. So it takes a long time to learn a language, a second language. And our district, for a long time now, teachers, leaders, principals, we have developed language goals for our students so that they are ready by the time they promote from 8th grade for those advanced courses and so those AP courses in high school. So our goal is for our students to be at an intermediate level, intermediate low to mid when they end 5th grade, and at an intermediate mid to high when they end middle school. So the Apple test that we take every year, students take it in 5th grade and in 8th grade. And these are some of the results that we got. 5th grade students in Spanish, on the left is the N that represents novice. And then the I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's intermediate. So the goal would be for fifth graders to have an intermediate low, at least to intermediate high. And you can see here, intermediate low would be that 1 right there. So our fifth graders did meet the goal. And this is despite challenges that we had last year with taking tests, learning from home. And so lots of technological problems and things like that. But despite that, our students did great. In the Mandarin program, there was some discrepancy because, like I just said, there was some challenges with the test, with the iPads and things like that. But the goal was for students in Mandarin to be at a novice mid to a novice high. So they definitely did great with listening. There was some no report on the writing, but they performed in the novice mid in speaking and reading. And then you see here our middle schoolers, our eighth graders in Spanish. You could see the growth from fifth grade to eighth grade, which is very typical. We see a huge growth in that intermediate range. You see here that they were at intermediate mid in some areas, in most areas. So again, students were very close, either met the goal or were very close to meeting the goal. And again, writing, speaking, listening, and reading. In the Mandarin, you see a great growth as well. In eighth grade, our eighth graders in the Mandarin program, the goal was intermediate low. So you see here, they performed at high, novice high, very close to that goal. And here are just kind of the things I was just saying. We have language goals. So end of kinder through second grade, end of fifth grade, end of middle school for Spanish, and then our goals for, again, for Mandarin. About a year ago or so, under the leadership of Mrs. Cox, a lot of our immersion programs met for a day at least, and we went over the world language standards and what that means in our classrooms. So what is that? What should they be able to do in the classroom? Not just the level, the proficiency, but what does that look like for a kindergartner? What does that look like for a fifth grader? So these tasks or these can-do statements, a lot of teachers collaborated, and we have like a shared drive and documents that kind of spell out the rigor of that matches the standard. So whether it be writing or speaking, it has rubrics of what to expect. So this is definitely something that was started, but definitely something that needs to continue, that collaboration and that communication. So something to keep working on. And that concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions for me?
Have a question? No? Well, I just want to thank you for your very detailed presentation and the immersion program is such a gem in our district. So we have many gems, and this is one of them. So thank you for telling us about it.
You did an awesome job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we will go to Assistant Superintendent Lisa Davis and Dr. Natalie Winspear will present timelines and activities associated with the local control accountability plan.
Thanks, Andrew. That was me. Okay, now you can hear me. Okay.
While you're sitting up, I want to just ask, would any of my colleagues like to take a brief recess? Okay. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
Thank you. You're awesome. Hey,
All right, I want to thank the members of the public for indulging that brief recess. And now we will turn it over to Lisa Davis and Dr. Natalie Winspear.
Okay, thank you so much. So I am here tonight to present our mid-year LCAP update, and we're going to be presenting on our both our metrics and our expenditures and our actions. So I'm going to be presenting the bulk of the presentation tonight, but Lisa is going to interrupt me as needed to pitch in on anything related to our expenditures. Okay, so the background here is that Assembly Bill 130 requires us to present an update on our 21-22 LCAP and the budget overview for parents on or before February 28th, 2022 at a regularly scheduled meeting. So that would be tonight. And what we're required to present is the supplement to the annual update, which is an actual document that we're going to have to turn in with our new LCAP at the end of the year. So I'm going to go over what's on that with you. And then any available mid-year outcome data, as well as mid-year expenditures and implementation data. So the impact of the budget overview for parents, what we had adopted versus what is the amount in the Budget Act is slightly different. So we are presenting to you the differences in the numbers as originally presented back in June to the numbers that have been updated currently. And in that supplement that I mentioned, there are 5 prompts. The first prompt is they want information from us on educational partner engagement for the Budget Act funds. So we've received a variety of different funding streams, and they want to have an update or a description of how we engaged with our partners. So we've listed here some of the ways that we've engaged our partners in the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant, our ELOP program, and our pre-K planning and implementation. We've done several thought exchanges, and we currently have one out for our pre-K planning. And then we've also engaged through different staff and community groups. Prompt 2 asks about concentration funding, and we do not receive concentration funding. Prompt 3 is asking about our partner engagement specifically for the ESSER 3 funds. So as required on February 18th, we did an LCAP survey this is last year in 2021. On March 8th, we solicited input at a district budget advisory committee. And on May 12th, we also solicited feedback from the instructional planning committee, which included school and district administrators, teachers, principals, school leaders, and other educators. Prompt 4 and prompt 5 specifically ask about the relationship between our use of these fiscal resources with our LCAP goals and how we have and an update on how we're expending these funds. So as you can see, our entire plan is aligned with the LCAP for using our ESSER 3 funds. We are using those funds for our Imagine Learning implementation, for our Summer Academy, and to support the work that we've been doing around multi-tiered systems of support. And then we are reporting the costs for those actions. So for this mid-year update, at this point in the year, some of our metrics are going to be unknown, some are going to be in progress, and some are going to be known because we're mid-year on our 21-22 LCAP. And so as I report out on these to you, I will let you know what the status is. And the same goes for our expenditures and implementation. For some of our expenditures, we haven't started spending the money yet. For others, we're in progress. We've spent some of it. And for others, we have completed and spent all the money and completed our implementation. So LCAP Goal 1 is that all students will make academic growth in order to reach mastery of grade level standards, individual goals, and development of the LUSD student profile competencies. So in LCAP Goal 1, we have a lot of metrics. So I'm going to go through them rather quickly. Please stop me if you have any questions. One of our metrics is the instructional sufficiency of our materials. Our desired outcome was to have 100%, and we've actually been able to meet that goal already this year. Another metric is the condition of our facilities. 100% of our facilities have a good, or the goal was that 100% of our facilities would have a good or exemplary rating using the FIT tool. Our baseline was 84%. We continue to be at 84%. However, we do have a plan and we are working towards improving that fair rating to good or hopefully even exemplary. Another metric is for us to have a broad course of study for our students. And our baseline was 100%, our goal was 100%, and we've met that, maintaining 100% this year. Another metric is participation in family nights. We wanted to have two different kinds of family nights. We wanted to have family virtual meetings for our Title I families. And we were also hoping to hold in-person family nights. We have not yet been able to do that because of COVID. We're still hopeful that we might be able to do that, but we did have our virtual Title I meetings. And I've listed for you the number of participants that attended those meetings by site. Another metric was for our teacher credentials and assignments for our teachers to be appropriately credentialed and assigned. Our baseline was 100%, our goal was 100%, and we have met that goal this year. We have also met the goal for our DLAC committees for all sites to have at least one representative, as well as our ELAC committee. We wanted for any school with 21 or more EL students to have an ELAC and provide evidence of regular meetings and their election process posted, and we have met that goal as well. For our district advisory committee, we wanted at least one representative from each school site to attend our district advisory committee. We've met that goal. And then we also wanted to have evidence of regular meetings for our school site councils. We have met that goal. For our NWEA map, in lieu of CASP, since we haven't had the CASP in a couple of years, we set the goal for our students' winter mean RIT score to meet or exceed national norms. I am actually going to be able to share that winter data with you in our next board meeting. So I will we'll get into that data in March. So some of our metrics from goal 1 do not yet have any data available to share. So I just wanted to list those for you in one place. So our reclassification is unknown because we do that in the spring. Our English learner proficiency is measured by the LPAC, and we're actually in the process right now of administering the LPAC district-wide. ELA and math state assessments are also unknown because the CASP was not administered, but we will be administering it this spring. For English learner progress, as I mentioned, the LPAC is in progress right now. For CAST, we're going to get those results this spring. As I mentioned, we're still hoping to have some additional family nights in person. And also implementation of state standards is unknown because that is measured through a performance rating that has been paused due to the pandemic. So we don't have the dashboard available to us currently. So for goal 1, now we're going to talk a little bit about actions. And you can see that we've got the budgeted expenditures as well as the estimated actuals listed. So that's the way it's going to be on every slide, just so you can see how much of those budgeted funds we've actually expended. So with curriculum, we actually, as you can see in the implementation note, we've actually been working quite a bit on alignment and calibration. And we've also been engaging with SDCOE and working on our 5 dimensions of teaching and learning framework. We actually had our 5th meeting with them today, and it was very productive. Another action is for our schools to set goals, which they did do in September. There was no cost associated with that goal. Another goal is technology integration. You can see that we've spent the majority of those funds by maintaining our wonderful technology TOSA and providing one-to-one devices for all of our students and using the Google Classroom and Seesaw platforms. We also were working on expanded or extended learning. So these are our learning loss mitigation teachers, and they have been very successful in their work with our students. We're collecting a lot of data about the students that they're working with, and we see that they are making good progress, measurable progress. And then we're also working towards providing another awesome summer academy this summer like we did last summer. For MTSS, we continue to be maintaining NWEA MAP and DIBELS assessments as our universal screeners. We've also purchased the COGAT for our gate assessments, and we actually just started that this week. We had some technology issues, so we had to postpone, but we got those resolved and we've started moving forward with that assessment this week. We've purchased EduClimber, which is going to be a really cool data platform that is going to be very, very user-friendly for our staff and our KidWatch system. So we're really excited about that. And then we've purchased other intervention programs like Explode the Code, Achieve the Core, and Imagine Learning, and we've maintained our wonderful MTSS TOSAs. MTSS for English learners, we have not spent all of those funds. Some of our GLAD training had to be canceled due to sub shortages, but we'll be able to get that back up and running now that the surge is over, and hopefully that will be it for us for the COVID surges. For facilities, you can see we've spent a significant amount of those budgeted funds on routine restricted maintenance and deferred maintenance funds for things such as asphalt, roofing, plumbing, fencing, and painting. We've been engaging with our parents quite a bit through the Thought Exchange. So we have paid for our contract with that company, and it's actually been very handy. I love the way that Thought Exchange asks open-ended questions so that we can get we're not limiting the kinds of input that we're getting when we're asking a question, because we ask an open-ended question and then whatever's on people's minds is what we get. And then others can respond to those thoughts. So we know what are the more popular thoughts. And so we've got one of those open right now, as I said, for our preschool planning meeting. And every day I go in and I read the comments, and it's very helpful. And then for Action 9, parent engagement, we have 2 community liaisons who are working at their sites to engage and support families. Right now, they're supporting our LPAC assessment district-wide, and they have been wonderful to have and work with for our parent outreach efforts. Materials adoption, we're continuing to purchase science materials as needed for sites. Our students, as you saw, because we met the goal, are enrolled in a broad course of study. There were no actual budgeted expenditures for that. And then for home to school transportation, we currently have 1 general ed bus that runs 2 routes daily. We have a critical bus driver shortage in the nation, which makes any open positions very hard for us to fill at this time. Moving on to goal 2. Goal 2 is that all students will receive support that enables them to thrive socially and emotionally, including the celebration of diversity within our community and affirmation of the importance of our common humanity. The metrics here were to reduce our suspension rates. Last year was obviously not a typical year because we were in hybrid all year. So our suspension rates were very, very low last year, as you can see. Our goal is to achieve a green or higher on the dashboard, but the dashboard is suspended. So we really can't measure ourselves against the dashboard. But what I did provide for you is our current suspension rates for this year. So last year we were at 19, which was incredibly low. And where we stand now, a little more than halfway through the year, is at 22. So we're still seeing a lower than normal rate of suspensions, which is a very good thing. Our expulsion rates maintain at 0%. And then our social and emotional learning supports, we have several metrics here. So one is the percentage of respondents reporting receiving social emotional learning support at school most or all of the time. Our baseline last year was 86%. Interestingly, this year on the CHIC survey, our 5th graders came in at 82% and our 7th graders came in at 52%. So we continue to address social emotional learning and support with our school counselors, with our mental health specialists, and with our behavior team. So we're maintaining the same level of support and are working hard to provide as much social emotional learning support as possible, including social emotional learning in all of our classrooms. Another one of our metrics is sense of safety, and we're measuring that in a variety of ways using the CHIC survey. You can see our baseline data on the left. Our goal was for 85% in all areas. We did not meet that, but we did actually improve in all of these areas. One was that parents would feel that their student is safest at school, or that school is safe for their student, that they would feel that, and we have it broken down for the whole district, for elementary and for middle school, and you see all increased. Additionally, we looked at staff perceptions. So staff respondents feeling that their school is a safe place for staff, that grew 42% this year. 93% of elementary and middle school staff responded that their school environment is a safe place for their students as well. That also increased. And we're down 10 percentage points of elementary students responding that they feel safe at school. We're still almost meeting that goal. We were well above that goal previously. And then our middle school students also dropped about 12 percentage points in their perception of school being safe or very safe. So we're not really sure why that is, but we're thinking about it and exploring it to try to better understand why we may have gone down slightly in those areas. School connectedness is also a metric that we're measuring. So again, our goal is 85% in all areas. You can see that we grew in the number of parents district-wide who report feeling welcome to participate at school. We also grew with parents reporting that active participation in school. Our staff stayed static in their feelings that their work environment is positive. And 78% of our students reported feel connecting at school at elementary, and 60% of our middle school students reported feeling connected at school. In terms of caring adults at school, again, our goal is 85%, and at elementary school, 76% of our students responded pretty much true or very much true that they had caring adults in school, and 58% of our middle school students reported pretty much or very much true that they had caring adults at school. So expenditures, goal setting or actions, I'm sorry, and expenditures. So for goal setting, there was no money needed to achieve that goal, which we did achieve. We did set aside some money from district-wide social emotional curriculum. So as you know, all schools are either piloting or have adopted a school-wide social emotional learning program. And then our behavior team continues to work across the district with all students who have challenging behaviors. They're currently case managing about 50 students across the district. We have a board certified behavior analyst, and we've increased our behavior intervention aides from 2 last year to 4 this year. So they are very, very busy supporting students around the entire district and teams. We've been able to maintain our counselors and our assistant principals and our coordinators. We've been working with the County Office of Education. We've actually started that work. It looks like they have not billed us yet, but we have started the work with the county. We've had 4 professional development sessions with them to discuss equity mindset. And then we also have been providing social emotional support, or one of the goals is to provide social emotional support for our staff. As you know, we entered into a contract with NUM through our district wellness committee, and our launch date for NUM is going to be 2/22/22. So they now have a list of all of our employees, and they're going to be sending out emails soon with all of the information that folks need to sign up. So we put out a little teaser flyer last week because we wanted to make sure people knew it was coming. We're still working on it. And so I think we're on track to launch on 2/22/22. So we're very excited about that. We continued our MTSS TOSAs, and we've already reflected that cost in goal 1, so we didn't reflect it again here. And then we are also tracking attendance with our contract with A2A. LCAP goal 3, the district and school sites will pursue purposeful and innovative instructional models to foster high levels of student engagement and ensure that all students are academically challenged. The metrics here are for meaningful participation of students who, so we're looking for a percentage of students who report meaningful participation on the CHIC survey. And our goal is for 80% of our 5th graders and 70% of our 7th graders, and you'll see where our baselines were. So we've stayed pretty steady. We're holding steady here in terms of our CHICS data for the percentage of students who are reporting meaningful participation. Another one of our goals was attendance, and for the percentage of students by school who attended school 96% or more of the time. And our goal was to have a minimum of 90% positive attendance. And my mind is blown that we are currently meeting this goal, not because we're not spending a lot of time paying attention to it and working on it and staying connected with families, but just given the number of absences we've had this year because of COVID, we have still been able to meet this goal. It is super cool. So for chronic absenteeism, the percentage of students who were absent for 10% or more of the instructional days, you can see that our baseline is listed as well as where we are this year. We don't have the way the goal is written is by student group again, and we don't have that data because the dashboard was suspended. But you can see that at some sites, our chronic absenteeism has actually gone down, and at other sites, our chronic absenteeism has gone up a little bit. But we have more significant drop in chronic absenteeism than increase. So that's also great news. Yeah, the decrease. Yeah. Yep. Most of them went down. Yeah. And, you know, TDS had a really great year last year attendance wise. So I think that, you know, we're just, you know, it's up and down. And then our middle school dropout rates remain at 0. So we're currently meeting this goal. And for our actions, one of our actions was to work on our curriculum framework and assessments. And we discussed that already under goal 1, action 1. So I'm not going to discuss it again. Action 2 is Flex School. So our Flex School provides students with a teacher and personalized core instruction in person or in a virtual environment, and as well as intervention and the opportunity to apply, learning in relevant real world projects. So we're continuing to maintain our awesome Flex School. We're also spending time investigating innovative learning models. As you heard from Principal Rosa this evening, they're looking at partnerships with LCAP and the agriculture program and the gardening program. So that's just an example of what they're pursuing in terms of innovative learning models. Different sites are pursuing different things. And then we're continuing to support our immersion program, and Miss Alejandra Morales, our language TOSA, who we were just hearing from. And then also career technical pathways. We are exploring partnerships with strong workforce. So we continue to be in the exploration phase. It says see next slide, but that should say we'll talk a little bit more about it next month, because I found some really cool alignment between what employers in San Diego are looking for with our student profile. And so I was really excited to see how much alignment we have between what we're working on with our students and what employers are looking for in the community. So we'll talk a little bit about that in our next meeting together. So in closing, the continuing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, including the challenges of hiring staff, implementing safety and health protocols, addressing learning acceleration needs due to the impacts of distance learning, have presented us with a lot of challenges. But despite those challenges, we have remained committed to implementing the LCAP and making sure we're providing necessary services to our students. So we acknowledge and sincerely thank the hard work and dedication of our employees, the support of our parents, and absolutely the resilience of our students to continue to reach for excellence in Lakeside. Any questions?
Any questions? Comments? Well, thank you so much for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we will move on to my favorite part of the meeting, the consent agenda. So, all right. I'll need a motion to designate the items to the consent agenda.
I will make that motion.
Thank you. I need a second.
I'll second.
Mr. Wisdom will second. Thank you. All right. Need to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any items that you'd like to pull?
We have to make the motion first.
To make the
You
motion.
make the
to pull?
motion and to pull. It's,
Well, I thought we would pull and then we make the motion to
isn't it supposed to be?
approve.
Whatever you say.
Well,
I'll tell you what, I'll make the motion, and I would like to pull
okay.
2.3 and 2.4.
Okay.
I really thought you had an Andrew.
I thought I did too.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So can
I
I,
also, yeah,
do I have to make a motion?
No,
to
you can,
pull?
no,
nope.
Okay, I would like to pull item 4.9.
Okay.
And didn't we agree to pull
Yes, I was gonna
3.5?
pull that.
Okay, so I would like to pull 4.9.
Lauren,
So you're doing the 3.5
okay, I'm
too?
gonna pull 3.5.
Okay.
So we're pulling 2.3, 2.4, 3.5, and 4.9. Okay, so we can vote on everything but.
Give me a second.
So we need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we can start with 2.3.
Okay, yeah, so that's something we needed to pull because we have to decide who we're going to recommend.
Yep. So do you, I have a list of my recommendations who we should support for the CSBA Delegate Assembly.
And I'm going to tally it.
Okay, yeah, so the folks that I just want to pull up here, so I read their full names for you, Bonnie. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so Maria Betancourt Castaneda from National School District. Eleanor Evans from Oceanside Unified School District. Humberto Gromilan, San Ysidro School District. Claudine Jones from Carlsbad School District. Jiwa Mock from Del Mar Union School District. Tamara Otero from Cajon Valley Union School District. And Marla Stridge from Encinitas Union School District.
I wasn't counting, was that 9?
That's not 9. I have selected 7, which means we could pick up to 2 more if anyone would like to do so.
I don't know anyone.
I don't know. I mean, I read what they said, but.
Does anyone have strong feelings about adding 1 to the list?
No.
No.
I
Okay.
appreciate the recommendation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was hoping you'd make recommendations because you read.
We appreciate that.
Right?
Happy to do so. All right. Well, if there's no other discussion on it, I will take a motion to approve 2.3 with those selections.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 2.4.
Well, yes. I love Reading Week, so I just wanted to pull it so we could say, I think it's really cool. Love Reading Week is great. You know, if we can instill the love of reading to the students while they're with us, that's a great accomplishment. And so I just wanted to pull it and say that.
Excellent. Well, I agree. Love of Reading Week. I'm a book person, so I love seeing when students are excited about reading. So any other comments?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
And I'll
Second,
second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to 3.5. So I pulled 3.5 and I would just like to make a motion to table that to a future meeting date.
I'll second it.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, 4.9.
That's
The
a
only
big
reason
one.
I want to pull this is because I think it's so super that $35,000 is going to make a student makerspace at CES, which is wonderful. So makerspace allows kids to use the design thinking process and hands-on, minds-on, great learning for kids. And I really appreciate the Rise City Church for doing that. I'd like to acknowledge that. And other than that, I'm just happy to see that. I hope, is that going to go into space that's going to be freed up by moving equipment to the gym?
I am not exactly sure where their space is that they have in mind for that, so we would definitely ask those questions, but I'm sure we'll get a tour as soon as they get everything in, and we'll ask about the plans for where they're purchasing the materials from to make the space.
So and then I would like to move to approve 4.9.
Okay, I'll second that.
It's very exciting.
I know, it's very exciting. Any further comments? I would like just to thank the pastor, Grant, and their.
I have several friends that attend this church, so I really appreciate that.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, thank you for supporting our community.
Yep.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. That brings us down to board policies, regulations, and bylaws. So adopted is requested, 8.1, Board Exhibit 4112.9, 4212.9, 4312.9, Employee Notifications. Is that in the consent? Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
We're just doing
Discussion.
the first readings.
Yep. Sorry about that. So first reading is requested of our Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6142.8, Comprehensive Health Education. Any questions, comments on that?
No.
None? Okay. A first reading is requested of Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6162.51, State Academic Achievement Tests. Thoughts, comments, edits at this moment? Okay. A first reading is requested of Board Policy and Administrative Regulation 6176, Weekend and Saturday classes. Thoughts? Okay, all righty. Those will come back to us. All right, informational items. We'll have our enrollment report.
I don't really have anything to add to the enrollment report. We have been seeing some, after winter break, a few students coming in here and there. It seems like they've are military families that have been moving into the district, so I've been getting some requests for placement of, because there are some classrooms that are impacted at certain sites, but or they're getting close to a 24-1, and so it's just monitoring that and making sure that folks who are moving into those communities have a place in that school site and keeping them at their home school. But it hasn't been super significant, but we've seen them kind of been sprinkling in, so which is good for us.
Thank you. All right, we have a quarterly investment report.
For your information, our county treasurer is great, awesome. They invest our monies in the pool very well. So there's never been, knock on wood, any kind of concerns or issues. Dan McAllister does a great job.
We can thank Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And the quarterly uniform complaint procedure data related to the Williams settlement and legislation reported 0 complaints for quarter ending December 31st, 2021. Okay, great. Reports to the board. We will start with Carrie Strong.
Hi.
Carrie.
Hi. Sorry, I always have to click the join as panelists and do all the audio things when that starts. All right. Hello again. I'm back. I think you got a pretty good idea of how your teachers are feeling earlier this evening. So I'm not going to repeat myself on that topic. But what I do want to do is I want to recognize some fantastic members. First, I'm going to share the love for our school counselors. It's National School Counselor Week, and our incredible school counselors provide our students with the much needed support in pre-COVID times. And a lot has changed for them in the past few years, and they've adapted very well, as school counselors do. And now they're in even more need as they begin to help our students cope with a wide range of issues, including everything from deaths of family members due to COVID, to helping them adjust to the ever-changing rules in schools surrounding COVID, just to working also with students on their self-confidence and empathy skills and their collaboration and cooperation skills. They're amazing. And one thing hasn't changed, though, is that their dedication to our students and our schools is stronger than ever. So I just want to really say thank you to our school counselors for helping make our schools a space where all students know that they're valued and cared for, and you are very much appreciated. So shout out to all of our school counselors. I also want to acknowledge 2 other LTA members. Every year, CTA offers awards, an award called a WHO Award at the state and the local level. WHO stands for We Honor Our Own. And I just want to let you know that this year Lakeside is representing at that awards ceremony. We are pleased to share that Kathy Sprecko has been awarded the CTA State WHO Award for her service to educators in Lakeside as our past president and bargaining team member. Her service to the San Diego County, to teachers in San Diego County through her work at the SDCTA Service Center and through her work at the CTA State Council level. And we are also happy to announce that Sharon Sullinger has also been awarded the Local WHO Award, which honors her for her work at the local level in Lakeside. Sharon works hard to support our members in her role as member engagement chair and bargaining team member, note taker, and as a site representative. So we just want to offer our congratulations to Sharon and Kathy. We're going to be honoring them at the San Diego CTA Service Center Council Awards ceremony on March 13th. So that is all I have to report out to you. We're just holding things down out at the school sites and going forward and showing up for our kids every day.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, we will have David Myers from CSCA.
That wasn't your fault. Oh, look at that. You fixed it. Good evening, trustees. It's been a long night. I'm glad I could be here with you. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a lot. I do want to say thank you, Andrew, for pulling the 3.5, the resolution for the layoffs, so we can bargain with the district for our employees. And other than that, not a whole lot going on currently. I really want to thank all of our classified staff in our school offices that are really dealing with the COVID, as well as just the tons of paperwork and everything they've been doing. It's been fantastic. I know a lot of them have been very stressed out. I think I've heard the group contact tracing has helped out quite a bit. So glad to hear that. And I'm also glad, I guess, that I don't have to do any part of that. So we will continue to do what we do and show up for our school, our students, and staff. Thank you.
Thank you, David. All right, we will move to our district superintendent. So we'll start with Lisa Davis, who will present on business and operations updates.
Okay. Reached out to IT and food services and maintenance and operations, and they're all moving along, keeping the wheels of the bus going. The district, not anything new to report out besides just, I mean, we've heard that on the construction projects, they're winding down. There'll be some ribbon cutting ceremonies coming up. Todd's working on that. And in the business office, we're chugging along, looking to fill the one position that's still open in that department. It'll be nice to be fully staffed here shortly, hopefully. And yeah, that's all I have to report out tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Natalie Winspear.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
I'm sorry, was there a question from one of the, no? Okay. Okay. All right, Dr. Natalie Winspear.
So I want to report out on our district-wide PD day. It seems like it was forever ago, but it was actually just about a month ago. We had a wonderful day with a lot of professional development. Thank you for joining some of our sessions. Mark Schumacher, our comedian, was awesome. It was a bummer that we couldn't be together to enjoy that and laugh together, but we enjoyed it regardless, laughing alone in our offices. I want to report that we have, I mentioned earlier, our contract with A2A for attendance letters. We had some issues this year with Infinite Campus and A2A communicating with each other, and we've spent a lot of time trying to resolve that, which we did finally do. So we do have attendance letters going out to families now, so we're excited about that. I mentioned that our new launch date is 2/22/22. So I just want to remind everybody of that. We had our first TK planning meeting last week, and we actually accomplished quite a bit in that meeting. We have a thought exchange survey right now that's live, and we're going to have our next meeting on February 18th. I want to just acknowledge our principals for all of their hard work on the comprehensive school safety plans that you approved this evening. I think our board packet was upwards of 2,000 pages, and that was primarily because of those very lengthy comprehensive school safety plans. I mentioned earlier that we have COGAT gate, which is our new gate test, is currently being implemented across the district. So we started testing this week, and we will continue into next week. LPAC testing is also underway. We successfully completed TDS last week and LMS this week. So we're going to continue with our LPAC testing schedule through the rest of this winter and spring. And then we met with our alignment and calibration lead team earlier this week, as well as principals. And we had a really productive conversation. We met for about 90 minutes. We spoke the entire time about what folks, what their perceptions were about the work, what their thoughts and ideas were around continuing the work. And we got a ton of really, really good feedback. So we're really excited to continue with some modifications based on the input that we received. So we're going to develop a plan, and we're going to go back to that leadership team to go over the plan, and then we're going to move forward. That's my report. Any questions?
Any questions? No. Thank you. Dr. Rhonda Taylor.
Hi, I just wanted to echo Carrie's sentiment to our school counselors and just appreciating you this week and throwing you out some love, because you are so valuable to our overall program, and we're very appreciative of everything that you all do. I also wanted to thank the board for spending the bulk of the day with me today at a retreat, which is really just AKA a really long meeting. So, but there was salad involved, so that was good. But I feel like we've got some good work done. We talked about our reorganization plans. I'll be sharing that out with our school community soon so that they have an idea of what we're moving towards. And I just always appreciate your guidance and support. So thank you so much. It's been a month of a lot of change, and I just really appreciate the support as we navigated through it. And that's it from me.
Okay, if there's nothing else before us, I'm going to adjourn the meeting.